Oh, so you thought the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni mess couldn't get any crazier? Well, buckle up, because just when we thought it couldn't possibly go further, Blake's ex-assistant just dropped some jaw-dropping tea that's got people side-eyeing her like never before. Forget the image of the sweet girl next door. This is a whole different side of Blake, and it ain't pretty.
Okay, I'm extremely weirded out. I actually cried on the train home. I used to take the train back to Long Island. Like, I was mortified. Like, again, not only did I not treat her unprofessionally, but nobody to my experience that I saw spoke to her. And I'm like, her? I didn't speak to anyone, let alone her, didn't know who she was. And so I was very confused, and they specifically kept saying, I'm freaking out, am I gonna lose my job at this point? Because you know how interns, the gravity of it hits me as I walk out, and I just start crying, because I'm like, oh my God,
The drama around Blake is stacking up, and it's messy, y'all. We've got rumors of her hooking up with Scarlett Johansson's husband, being a straight-up terror to interns and reporters, and even allegedly getting her co-stars kicked off sets. In this video, I'm about to pull the curtain back on Blake Lively's dark side that nobody's talking about. And as you know, she's been making headlines, suing Justin Baldoni, claiming he harassed her and ran a whole smear campaign to ruin her rep. But trust and believe, Baldoni's lawyers aren't backing down, and they're ready to spill more of this tea.
Was there a coordinated smear campaign to bring down Blake Lively?
100% no. Justin Baldoni from the get-go said, I don't want to do anything negative toward her. I don't want to hurt her.
But poor Blake, this public back and forth, he said, she said, it's blowing up in her face. If she thought filing that lawsuit was going to make her out to be the underdog, it's done the complete opposite. Now people are going back through her history, and honey, what they're uncovering is painting her as one of Hollywood's nastiest bullies. And it all started with one of Blake's own former assistants coming forward, revealing some downright nasty and evil stuff about her.
So this girl has a pattern of flipping the narrative, playing the victim, and then leveraging her status to actually bully and mistreat other people. So I've never heard of Justin Baldoni. I am someone who, again, worked with Hollywood directors, never heard of this guy. This might have been his big break. And what I saw is her harassing him.
And it doesn't stop there. Celebrities are coming out the woodwork to call out Blake Lively. One of the first to speak up was Jamie, better known as Cool Mom Jamie across TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Jamie's a major social media influencer, and with 20 years in the film and talent industry, she knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes. But her experience with Blake, it left her in tears and shook to the core. At the time, Jamie was just an intern on set with Blake, and out of nowhere, she's getting yelled at and scolded for absolutely no reason. All because Blake, with her inflated ego, felt the need to put someone down who she thought was beneath her.
After the meeting, and I'm freaking out now. I'm like, are they gonna let me go? Like, what just happened? And then they're like, Jamie, you were pointed out. They said that you were treating Blake like a fan. Blake had a big complaint about you. And I'm literally I feel like I'm going crazy.
So what went down? Blake accused Jamie of talking to her, something she apparently wasn't allowed to do, and of acting like a flustered fangirl around Blake, which Blake supposedly couldn't stand. How dare an intern even breathe the same air as this superstar Blake Lively, right?
Be like, well, she said you treated her like a fan. She said you treated her like a fan. And the only thing I could reiterate, because at this point I'm getting very I'm sweating, I'm really freaking out. I'm like, I promise I didn't talk to her, but they weren't buying it at that point.
But hold up, this happened before Gossip Girl even made Blake a household name. We're talking the set of The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants in 2005. Blake wasn't even that famous then. So for her to act like an intern dared to fangirl over her when she was still a nobody? Nah, it sounds like Blake had a major superiority complex from the jump, and that bullying energy was always there. And Jamie's not the only one with a horror story. More tea is spilling, so hold tight, because we're about to dive into some messy beef between Blake and celebrity interviewer Kirsty. And trust me, it's cringy as heck. While interviewing Blake and her co-star Parker Posey for the 2016 Cafe Society, Kirsty made a simple, kind comment about Blake's pregnancy. She was expecting her second child with Ryan Reynolds. But instead of responding like a normal, gracious person, Blake shut Kirsty down hard. Not only did Blake act rude, but she threw a cheap, unnecessary shot at the interviewer, leaving everyone in the room stunned.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump. What about my bump? You've got two nice ones.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lump.
Unbelievable, right? That whole situation with Blake Lively was downright horrific. Let's watch it again, but this time, really pay attention to how cringy the whole thing is. It's just bad, y'all.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps.
Flya even admitted that the whole experience made her seriously consider quitting her job. Can you imagine?
You know what? It's not okay to behave like that, and I think it needs to be called out. And so that's the reason why I did that now, so much later, and also because it took me a while, to be honest with you, it took me a while to actually get over it. It affected me for a while.
But wait, there's more. Blake didn't stop at shutting down Flya over the pregnancy comment. Later in the same interview, when Flya asked about Blake's clothes, Blake fired back with another snarky, completely unnecessary response. She practically ignored Flya the entire time, barely even glancing at her and instead focusing all her attention on her co-star. And let's not forget about Cafe Society director Woody Allen. 2 years before the movie's release, Allen was accused of sexual abuse by his adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow. But Blake, she brushed those allegations aside, acting like nothing was wrong and even defending Allen's directing style, calling it empowering. Fast forward to the Me Too movement, and Dylan Farrow called out Blake for being a hypocrite, condemning Harvey Weinstein while still supporting Allen, who's just as guilty as Weinstein. Blake's dismissive attitude towards Farrow's abuse and her adoptive father's behavior makes it clear. She doesn't seem to care much about standing up for women's rights. Now let's get into the real messy part, the celebrities who can't stand Blake. First on the list, Scarlett Johansson. Before Blake and Ryan Reynolds got together, they were both in different relationships. Blake was with Leonardo DiCaprio, and Ryan was married to Scarlett. But here's the twist. Being with other people didn't stop Blake and Ryan from getting together. Ryan and Scarlett tied the knot in 2008, but split in 2010. Interestingly enough, in the same year, Ryan and Blake starred in Green Lantern, and rumors from the set say their chemistry was so electric that they were sneaking off to rent hotel rooms nearby during filming.
After the divorce, Ryan Reynolds told the public that he never cheated on Scarlett Johansson and was just friends with Blake Lively while filming. That was definitely a lie because members of the Green Lantern crew said that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively would regularly leave their trailers and go rent a hotel room together near where the movie was being filmed. Another incident happened while filming Green Lantern where a waitress called in saying she saw Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively as her customers and thought they were on a date together.
So Blake and Ryan didn't make their relationship public right away, but they sure did some weird stuff behind the scenes. Blake broke up with her boyfriend, Ryan finalized his divorce, and then, boom, rumor has it, they started secretly hooking up. But the real tea? Scarlett Johansson is not here for Blake. Word on the street is, Scarlett has made it crystal clear she wants nothing to do with Blake and would rather avoid being in the same room as her at all costs. In fact, the two actresses have allegedly gone out of their way to make sure they're never caught face to face. Next up, let's talk about Anna Kendrick. During an interview, Anna initially had nice things to say about Blake, calling her a nice person when they first met. But little did she know, Blake's nice side wasn't exactly what it seemed.
Her husband Ryan, several years ago, so I've met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
Got it.
And thought she seemed nice, and little did I know.
The host even pointed out some serious body language issues between the two, which was super awkward to watch. Things got even more cringy when Blake tried to touch Anna, and, well, Anna was not having it. You gotta see this one.
How quickly do you...
Don't touch me.
And speaking of body language, this next clip really speaks volumes. Remember when Blake and her co-star America Ferrera were doing interviews for the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? Well, instead of talking about the movie, which is what they were supposed to be promoting, Blake somehow turned the whole thing into a Gossip Girl moment. She totally stole the spotlight, and you can tell America was not impressed. Just watch her face as Blake does her thing. It says everything.
Doesn't happen. You know, at the end of the first season, I was like, okay, well, what happens now? But we have a few more characters already in the beginning of the first season that come in and mess up our lives even more. We start in the Hamptons, which is a staple of New York socialites that you haven't yet seen. And, you know, we've all kind of dated each other, so we have to date more people or each other's parents. And
you can tell from America Ferrera's face that she was not feeling Blake making everything about herself. And it's not just America. Blake's got some serious beef with other co-stars too. For example, her relationship with Leighton Meester, her Gossip Girl co-star, is reportedly super frosty. Back in 2008, New York Magazine spilled the tea, saying Blake and Leighton avoided each other like the plague. The tension on set was so thick that the cast had to pick sides. A publicist for Blake even admitted that the two were never best friends, and it was pretty much clear they kept their distance. Blake would show up, do her job, and bounce. Fast forward to 2024, and get this, Blake and Leighton don't even follow each other on Instagram. but Leighton still follows two of her other co-stars, Chase Crawford and Penn Badgley. Now that's telling. Oh, and don't get me started on Armie Hammer. Word on the street is Blake played a role in getting him kicked off Gossip Girl. When Armie was asked about the biggest diva on set during an interview with Andy Cohen, he said filming the show was tough, and he didn't even finish all the episodes he was supposed to. Now, when Armie revealed that he was supposed to be Blake's love interest, Chelsea Handler jumped in and joked that it was Blake who was the problem.
Tough film.
Really? Literally, you said, get me out of this.
It was also like, get him out of here. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it just literally was that. Whose love interest were you?
I was Blake Lively's love interest.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
Sounds like she was the problem.
It sure does, Chelsea.
Armie didn't straight up say Blake was the one who made his life miserable on set, or that she got him fired. But the silence sure spoke volumes. We all know sometimes silence is louder than words. So, it's only a matter of time before more celebs start sharing their own horror stories about Blake. It's becoming pretty clear that Blake's reputation as a bully is starting to stick. So, what do y'all think? Is Blake really the big bad bully everyone's calling her, or are we just being played? And those affair rumors, did Blake really get with Ryan Reynolds while he was still married to Scarlett Johansson? Could she really do something like that? I mean, hey, it's Hollywood, right? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you're following this channel for more juicy content like this.